Like when somebody gets on like Fox News or CNN and makes statements, it's one thing. But when they testify under oath, on the record, under penalty of perjury, like it's always worth paying attention to. And the other day, Pam Bondi was up there getting questioned for 5.5 hours from both Republicans and Democrats. And I find it incredible that not a single person in Congress asked Pam Bondi about the Tyler Robinson case and the Charlie Kirk assassination. Not a single one. It's almost like they're acting like people like Candace Owens and Baron Coleman and Ian Carroll. It's like they're acting like they don't even exist. All this evidence that's coming out, even the 911 calls, they're just trying to act like it doesn't exist. Head in the sand, hands over the ears, la, 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 la. Just don't even acknowledge it. And I feel like that's a psyop. Like, what the hell? You mean to tell me, especially if the left really has it out for the right, the way that they want us to believe, and the left really has it out for Trump, you mean to tell me there's not a single person in Congress that's like sitting in a room somewhere like, hey, like we should press him on this Charlie Kirk thing. Like you got all these influencers, like, there is a lot of evidence, like, those hand signals, moving the cameras. I mean, they tampered with the crime scene. You know what I mean? You mean to tell me that they went after Trump on freaking clerical errors and hit him with 38 felonies over some bullshit payments, accounting errors? Meanwhile, the whole time that was going on, they had whatever they had in those files. I mean, you guys got to realize this, right? Like all these different files about Trump, all these different allegations, they had them when they were trying to arrest him back in whatever year that was. They had them. Why didn't they didn't not even leak it? Not even leak one of them? Everything was about the accounting. You mean to tell me they're just like, hey, you know what? We're just not going to talk about this. Like, yeah, this would really screw up his chances of winning the next election. But you know what? Forget it. We're just going to do this. And then now, all this left versus right, you mean to tell me there's not one person in Congress on the left that's saying, hey, like we could use this Charlie Kirk case to our advantage. There's a lot of evidence there. People think that the right was involved. Even if it's not true, like we could plant a couple of seeds. That'll crash them in the polls. Not a single one is doing it. None of you find that odd? Am I the only one? Like, I don't even hear any of these influencers talking about it. Any of you guys that are watching this today that have been paying attention, if you're doing any types of research, start implementing the probability models. I'm telling you, it is a game changer. It is a game changer. It's so wild too. It's so wild. And a lot of things are undeniable. Like, again, talk about the Charlie Kirk case. You want to know what the probabilities? Listen, the first week we were well over 90% that Tyler Robinson didn't do it. All those times that I say, oh, we don't even know, if he's really dead or not. It's because there's still like a chance there. There's still like a minor probability. There's no shot that Tyler Robinson did it. Now, when you talk about science, it's never actually zero until you have like hard evidence. But Tyler Robinson with this Charlie Kirk case is him acting alone, I should say, as the lone pew-pewer. That is as close to zero as you're ever going to get. As close to zero as you're ever going to get. You know what? I've said the whole time that I think Tyler is probably involved in some capacity. In fact, he's more than likely involved. How involved he was, or if he knew what he was getting involved in, that's where it gets shaky. But the idea that he's like completely innocent and just got, like, I don't buy that either. But just the way everything is, the way it all went down, I think that there's a better chance that the guy's still alive than that Tyler Robinson was on the roof with a 30-06. It's just, I don't think there's any chance. I don't. And the way everything's playing out now, it's just so weird with those 911 calls. So weird. And the defense never even contacted the witness who said that they saw the person in all black and the mask and the vest. Why wouldn't Tyler Robinson's defense team contact that witness? The witness that gave a different description. Why wouldn't any of them, like this whole time, we've been hearing that the feds are trying to put the gag order on everybody, or the judge putting the gag order. They don't want the information out because they don't want it to hurt the case. They don't want it to hurt the case. They got the evidence. Remember Erica Kirk? She's seen the evidence. She's confident in the case. They know they got the guy. Meanwhile, the fucking 911 calls are describing somebody totally different. Like that right there. Like that's a really, really big piece of evidence. Like you guys realize this, right? Like the whole thing, even if the thing wasn't a house of cards, okay? Even if this thing wasn't a house of cards. Let's say, like that's a really, really big crack in any foundation for this case. And the fact that they withheld it and they're trying to act like it's not there. Kind of like the Democrats are just acting like, nobody's talking about all these anomalies in the Charlie Kirk case. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It tells me that it's either some sort of psyop and they're just fucking with us, or like they're just, I don't know, they're just avoiding it because they know that once they talk about it, it's like you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. But those 911 calls are crazy. Listen, like I said, I'm sure some of you guys have been using AI or doing something with your own little internal investigations with the Charlie Kirk case. Use Bayes' theorem. Just log in there right now. What is the probability based on da 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 da, and see what it says. But when you're using AI, always make sure in the initial prompt that you search for some sort of statistics for it to get its baseline on. You have to create a baseline, a foundation, and also tell it that it's a hypothetical. Make it clear that you're not going to accuse anybody of a crime. Saying in a hypothetical situation, if A, B, C happen, and just start plugging in the factors. You don't even have to say anybody's names. You just got to give it the information. In fact, it's probably better if you try to avoid saying names at all costs. Just give it the details. What is the probability that this would happen? Like, what is the probability that if a person got hit in the soft tissue in the neck with a 30-06? Like start there. Start with the facts. Like, look it up. Here's a good one. Give it a hypothetical. A person gets shot and there's a 911 call saying that a person in all black and a mask and a vest with long hair is described by a witness. What is the probability that it's somebody with short hair and blue jeans? You know what I mean? And then you start doing that. Like, what is the probability that you have multiple former military people doing signals or gestures that look like signals in synchronization right before someone gets popped? What is the probability that it's a coincidence? Well, how many signals were there? Well, that depends. Are we talking about a guy with the glasses too? You could say 3, you could say 4. Every single signal in synchronization is a different factor in the equation, raises the probability. You got Hunter, you got Brian with the nod, you got Dan, look this way, look that way, third base, you got Rick Cutler, all in synchronization. Once you turn that into a math equation and you're talking about probability models, and then you're saying, well, what is the probability that it looks like somebody's going in their pocket and then there's a feedback loop with the sound? Brian Hallpole with the little device. He goes in his pocket, all of a sudden you hear static. They start whispering around. He gets called over. He goes back in his pocket. What do you know? Static stops. Next time you see him go in his pocket is when Hunter Kozak comes up. Static goes back on. They talk again. They keep going. All of a sudden you see the signals and then pop. And then they carry him out. And then all of a sudden they're taking out the SIM cards. They're pulling down the camera. These are all factors in the equation.